Hello, this is Exponential Review. Taking a look at number one, the first thing that we're going to do, if we have a negative exponent, that means the variables are in the wrong spot, so we're going to flip these two. So this then becomes b to the third over a squared. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to plug in the values that each of them are. So we have in the bottom 3 squared. On the top we have negative 2 to the third power. So with that, we can plug it into our calculator. Negative 3 or negative 2 to the third power would be negative 8. 3 squared would be 9. So our correct answer would be choice C. The next one says write the radical using rational exponents. That just means take this radical form and rewrite it with a fractional exponent. So we have, this is your root, this is your power. So anytime we have something like this, it's always, so we have y, it's power over root. One way that you can remember that is Puerto Rico. So I have y, the power is 4, over the root, which is 6. The other thing that you need to do is just simplify. So when we simplify, we will get y to the 2/3, which would be choice D. Number 3, it says simplify. When you multiply, you add exponents. So you have m to the 2/5 plus 1/5 to give us an answer of m to the 3/5. Now, none of our answers look like that. So we have to rewrite this with a radical. So remember, power over root. So we have m, 5th root, 3rd power. Choice B. Number 4, how can this be written? Well, this has to do with the same thing that we just talked about. That there's nothing in the check as the root, it's automatically assumed to be a 2. Square root, square, when it talks about, the reason why it's a square is you have the same length and width. So we rewrite this as x plus 1 to the power over root, so we have 3 over 2 is equal to 4. Therefore, our correct answer is going to be choice D. Next thing I want you to do is I want you to turn over to the practice. We're going to do some more review type questions. So for this one, this says when simplified, we're going to multiply our coefficients. So negative 7 times 2 is negative 14. We add the exponents of the like letters. So 3 plus a, or a plus 3 is a plus 3. We cannot combine them, they're not like terms. For y, we multiply and we add the exponents. You have 4 plus a negative 1, which would be to the 3rd. So our correct answer for this one is going to be choice D. Now we're going to start solving some equations. When we do this, there's a couple ways that we can do it. The first way, to get a common base. Now 3 cannot be simplified. So we're just going to rewrite this as x squared plus x. 9 can be though. I can rewrite 9 as 3 squared. Don't forget to bring that negative 3 down. And now because I have a common base, I can clear those out. I'm left with x squared plus x is equal to 2 times negative 3, which is negative 6. The next thing that I need to do is I have to add 6 to the left. So I have x squared plus x plus 6 is equal to 0. Now for this one, this is non-factorable because there are no factors of 6 that will give me a positive 1x. So because of that, I have to use either the quadratic formula or I have to use completing the square. I'm going to use the quadratic formula. So I'm going to use x is equal to negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So I'm going to plug this in. X is equal to my b value is 1 So I'm going to put 1 there. My A value is also 1, and my C value is 6. So we're going to start to simplify, and we'll get x is equal to -1 plus or minus, inside parentheses, or the radical. You can do this with a calculator. You can also do it by hand. 1 squared is 1. -4 times 1 times 6. Well, -4 times 1 is -4 times 6 is 8. -24. And that's going to be +1, so this is going to be -23. 23 has no perfect square factors. However, you can simplify this. This negative under the radical is an I by definition. So your answer will be x is equal to -1 over 2 plus or minus I radical 23 over 2. So that's my answer. You can also break it up into -1/2 plus I radical 23 over 2, and then -1/2 minus I radical 23 over 2. The next one, so for this one, we're not going to get a common base. We're going to solve this like an equation. I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. I have 2x squared, and I should say like kind of like a linear equation, but that until the last step. Equals 66 minus 12 would be 54. We then divide by 2, and I have x to the 3/4 is equal to 27. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take this to the 4/3 power. So I have 4 over 3 on both sides. So here on the left, I'll get x. On the right, I would get 27. Remember, it's power over root. So I would have the 3rd root of 27 to the 4th power. So the 3rd root of 27, you can plug that in your calculator, would be 3. 3 to the 4th power would be 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 would be 81. The last thing you want to do is you want to check your work, and we're going to use our calculator for this. So I'm going to take this equation and plug in 81. So on the calculator, I will have 2 times 81 to the 3/4 power plus 12. And that checks out. So with the calculator, we know, so calc check, we know that we have 66 equals 66, and therefore this is our answer. Thank you.